welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful multicolored mesh maxi dress. It's perfect for summer, it's perfect for a beach cover-up, and yeah, the colors are really vibrant. So this project is perfect for scrap yarn, so get any colors of your choice. For me, I decided to use a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 colors. I ended up with a total of 6 colors, and get any scrap yarn of your choice. Even if it's not 6 colors, guys, you can find a kind of pattern that you can follow to get a different color combination for this design. And yeah, the hook that I used for this project is a 3.5mm crochet hook. The yarn that I am using is Robin. It's 100% acrylic, and then I'm also using some stitch markers and a measuring tape. So you will notice that at the beginning of the project, I'll be using a double strand to make the backups to look a little bit thicker and also have more coverage, as you can see in this image. And then when it comes to the lower part, I went to a single strand in order to have an airy feel, that lightweight, soft fabric that you can see in this video. If I was to use a double strand for the lower part, this piece would end up very heavy and thick, which I didn't want to have. So I used a double strand for the backups, and then when it came to the lower part, I used a single strand. So if you happen to get value from this video, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bells. And if you happen to make this piece as well, make sure you make use of the community page. Yes, guys, you can use the community page, and you can share the recreations of my projects on the community page of this channel. And if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops, and I'll be leaving a link behind in the description box below. So let's begin. So we're going to start off with our first color. For me, I started with a chain of 15, but I'll be recommending a number of chains to start with for the different sizes on the screen. So you start off with a slip knot and make a chain that suits your size. So I have my 15 chains here. Now we're going to go along our starting chain with a single crochet stitch. This pattern is explained in the US terms. So you're going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is this one. Insert your hook, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. So you're going to go into the next chain with a single crochet, and you're going to single crochet all the way along our starting chain until you get to the end. All right, so we are placing our last single crochet into the very last chain, and this is what you're going to have. I have a total of 14 single crochets, and at this point we shall have different stitches according to the size that you're making for. So we're going on to row 1 of the mesh pattern. I'll consider that row 1 of the mesh pattern. I'll consider the rows starting with this row that I'm doing. I'm not going to count this as a row because it will get a little bit confusing as we go along. So what we are doing right now is the very first color, which is this one, that very first color. So row 1, you're going to make a chain of 3 and turn your work. you're going to skip over the next stitch. So the chain of 3 here is attached to the very first stitch here. So we are going to skip this one and go into the next stitch. So yarn over, skip the next stitch, and half double crochet into the next. Pull through all. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. So you're going to repeat that. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into the next. So you're going to continue to do this until you get towards the end of the row. So look what we have. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are also counting this as 7. So we have a total of 7 half double crochets, because the chain of 3 at the beginning of the row counts as a half double crochet, chain 1. So we have a total of 7 half double crochets, and then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip the next stitch, and on top here, remember I'm explaining for the people who started with a chain of 15, but if you didn't start with a chain of 15, definitely you're going to have a different number of stitches along this side. So chain 1, and on top here you're going to go in there with a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet into the same space, chain 1, and half double crochet into the same space. And now we're going to go onto the opposite side. You're going to make a chain of 1, skip 1 stitch, and half double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch, half double crochet into the next. And we're going to go all the way across until the end of the row. So we are coming to the end of the row. Chain 1, half double crochet into the last stitch. So you should make sure that you have the same exact number of stitches on both ends. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches before the 3 stitches that we place at the top here. So once you're done with that, you're done with your very first color. You're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So from now on, we're going to do two rows of each and every color. So let me use my red color as my next color for demonstration. For my actual piece, I did black and then blue, but I am going to use this red color for my next color. So you're going to start with a slip knot, and then you're going to attach your yarn in the chain 1 space after the tail that you left behind at the end of the previous row. So you're going to attach your yarn there, make a chain of 3, which counts as a half double crochet, chain 1. You're going to go into the next chain 1 space with a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, half double crochet into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the 3 stitches on top of the break-up. All right, so I've reached the 3 stitches here. You're going to make a chain of 1, and in the chain 1 space, you're going to place 1 half double crochet. Remember, 3 stitches create 2 chain 1 spaces, this one and this one. So in the very first one, you're going to just place 1 half double crochet and then chain 1, and then in the second one, that's where we're going to place our 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1 spaces. just like that. And then from here you're going to make a chain of 1, half double crochet into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that until the end of the row. May half double crochet in the last chain space here, and then at the end you're going to make a chain of 1 and then place a half double crochet in the second chain of the first chain 3 of the previous row, just like that. So this marks the end of row 2 of the mesh pattern. So remember I mentioned that I'll be doing 2 rows of each and every color. So you're going to make a chain of 3, turn your work. We are basically repeating the previous row. So chain 3, turn your work, go into, skip the very first chain 1 space and go into the next with a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet into the next, chain 1, half double crochet into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the 3 half double crochets on top of the backup. All right, so when you get here, the 3 half double crochets that are placed in the same spot, you're going to make a chain of 1, and in the first chain 1 space you're going to place a half double crochet, chain 1, and then into the next chain 1 space you're going to place your 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1 spaces, just like that. And then you're going to go all the way to the end, chaining 1 and placing 1 half double crochet in the next chain 1 space. So chain 1, place a half double crochet into the last chain 3 space, and then make a chain of 1 and place a half double crochet in the second chain of the chain 3 from the previous row, just like that. We are done with row 3 of the mesh pattern. And now you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. And now it's time for us to switch to our next color. You're going to pull through and repeat the same exact process that you did for row 2 and 3 of the mesh pattern, again and again until you get the coverage that you want. I will be recommending a number of rows to consider for the different sizes, but feel free to add or subtract a few rows depending on the fitting that you're going for. So as you can see here, we did 2 rows of each and every color in order to achieve a pattern that looks like this. So repeat rows 2 and 3 of the mesh pattern again and again. Feel free to rewind the video until you get the coverage of the backup that you want. And I'll meet you back when I have mine ready. Another thing that I want to point out is, in order to keep track of whether you have balanced your work, you should count the number of half double crochet stitches that you have before the 3 in the middle, so in between the 3 stitches. So we have here and here, these are the 3 half double crochets on top of the backup. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then the 9th, which counts as the chain of 3, counts as the 9th. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9 stitches before the 3 half double crochets on top of the backup. Now when it comes to this side, on the opposite side, so we have our 3 half double crochet stitches here. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. So once you have the same exact number of stitches on either side of the 3 topmost half double crochet stitches, that means that your work is balancing and you can go ahead and keep growing your work up. If you happen to have a different number of stitches on either side, then it's going to not balance and it may come out a little bit weird. That means you're creating either an increase or a decrease on one side of the piece. So pay attention to that and go ahead and build your breakups as desired. All right, so I ended up with a total of 11 rows for my size medium, and I'll be recommending a number of rows to do for the different sizes, but feel free to add a few rows or subtract a few rows depending on the fitting that you're going for. Now, once you get the number of rows that you desire, you are going to clean up the edge using a single crochet row. And to do this, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then turn your work. You're going to use the same exact color as your very last row. So for me, that is the red, and I'm going to go into each chain 1 space with 2 single crochets. Just place 2 single crochets in each and every chain 1 space. So go all the way up until you get to this point, and I'll show you how to cross over to the opposite side. All right, so we've reached this point, and I'm still going to place 2 single crochets in each chain 1 space, but into the middle half double crochet, I'm going to go in there with 1 single crochet this time, and then 2 single crochets in each of the next chain 1 spaces. Alright, so I'm placing my last 2 single crochets into the last chain space, and then at this point you're going to just make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and this is what you're going to have. The edges are very neat, and this is the right side of the work, the side on which you work your final row. So you're going to do what you have to do to get rid of these loose ends. If it means tying the strands together, if it means let me say using a darning needle, just do what you have to do to get rid of these loose ends. For me, the fact that I have 2 ends at each point, I'm just going to go ahead and just make a knot. This may not be appealing to so many people, so if this is not something that you wish to see on your work, please go ahead and use a darning needle. I'm doing this on the wrong side of the work so that it doesn't actually show on the right side. This is going to be on the wrong side. Those little knots that I am creating are going to be on the wrong side of my work, so that's not something that's eating me up so much. So just go ahead and weave in your tails. If your yarn is a bit slippery, please consider maybe making a triple knot, or even using a lighter to burn those points so that they don't unravel. All right, so here we are. And then I'm also going to get rid of this one, the very final one. The fact that I have 2 strands, I'm just going to go ahead and make a knot. Okay, so see what we have, guys. A very neat finish for our bra cup. You're going to go ahead and make an identical bra cup to this one so that you have 2 of them, and make sure you have the same exact number of rows for your bra cups. So let me just go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back when I am through with that. Right, guys, I am through with removing all the loose ends, and this is how clean our bra cups look like. So you're going to attach your yarn in the topmost stitch of the bra cup, and then single crochet into the same stitch just to secure your yarn a little bit more, and then you're going to make a chain of 100. So once you have your 100 chains, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through and cut off the excess yarn as well. And you're going to repeat this on the opposite side. Create the strap for the second bra cup, and you're going to have something that looks like this. Now you're going to get your measuring tape and take your under bust circumference. For me, the under bust circumference I am considering is 26 inches. This is the under bust circumference I am considering. Wrap it around your under bust and get that measurement. So maybe let me just consider 27 because the measurement was in between 26 and 27. So let me get the upper measurement, which is 27 inches. And you're going to take off a total of 4 inches. So 27 minus 4 brings us to 23 inches. So you're going to note that number down. Your under bust circumference minus 4 inches. So that is 27 minus 4, which is 23 inches. So this is the number that we are considering. And then we are going to take a measurement at the base of our bra cup. Get one of your bra cups and take a measurement while slightly stretching. So I have about 10 inches, but don't overstretch. So let me consider 9. And that 9 times 2, because we have 2 bra cups, 9 times 2 is 18. And you're going to subtract that 18 from the number that we got here. So that will give me a total of 5 inches. That 5 inches, you're going to divide it by 2, and you're going to get 2.5. So that means this number here, get your under bust circumference, subtract 4 inches, get that number and subtract the length that you get at the base of your bra cups times 2, because we have 2 bra cups. So 9 plus 9 is 18. So that 18 here, subtract it from the figure that we got here. I have 5 inches. And we are dividing it by 2 because we want to figure out the extension that we have to make towards this side, towards the side of the bra cups. So for me, I have a total of 2.5 inches. So we are going to get our yarn. And remember, I have mentioned that we are going to move away from the double strand and now work our dress using a single strand. This is because I don't want a heavy dress, because if we use a double strand for the lower part, it's going to become too heavy. So you're going to attach Actually, let me first get a short strand that is going to join the two breakups together here in the middle. This is just a provisional strand. We shall take it out later on if we wish. So you're going to get your yarn, your very first color, and you're going to attach it at the end of one of the breakups, on the sides actually. And then you're going to make a chain that is this measurement here, the 2.5 or whatever number that you got here after dividing this number by 2. So 2.5 inches. Okay, so sorry for the noise, the kids are making noise here. 2.5, I think I need about 15 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have about 2.5 inches, as you can see here. Now, once you get that measurement, we are not going to make 5 more chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 1, 2, 3, 4, into the 5th chain from the hook, you're going to place a double crochet, skip 1 chain, chain 1, and double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, and double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet into the next chain. So we are creating a mesh pattern but using a single strand. Of course, using a double strand would have just made everything faster, but the final results, I feel like the single strand is going to do it for me. It will create a more functional crochet piece that is not bulky as well as too hot. So this is what I have. I have 1 chain left. I will just make a chain of 1 and go into the single crochet row with a double crochet. Now I'm going to start chaining 1 and going into each and every row with 1 double crochet. Chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next row. Chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next row. That's all that I'm going to do all the way across both the breakups. So remember this single crochet row, make sure you don't miss it. All right, so when you come to the middle section, I am placing a double crochet in this row. And then when it comes to the middle section, you're not going to place in each of the single crochet rows. You're going to just make a chain of 1 and go in between the single crochet rows. And then you're going to make a chain of 1 and go into the half double crochet mesh row, just like this. So you're going to continue to create your mesh pattern, going into each and every row with 1 double crochet separated by a chain 1 space. So when you make it to the end, make sure you place chain 1 and double crochet into the single crochet row. And then you're going to get a short strand of yarn of the same exact color as the row that you're working right now. And you're going to make a few chains. You're going to make an extension here. Just attach your yarn and make a chain that's roughly 2.5 inches. Remember, we are balancing what we have on the opposite side. So you're going to go back and count the number of spaces that you have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we want to make sure we create the same exact number of chain spaces on the opposite side. So chain 1, skip 1 chain, 1 double crochet into the next. That's 1, chain 1, skip 1 chain, 1 double crochet into the next. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So once you get the number of boxes that you want, or chain spaces that you want for the opposite side as well, let me cross check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You can unravel and remove the excess chains and then pull through. So that's what I've done for this side, and we are done with row 1 of the under bust. So we're going to do 2 rows of the mesh pattern. So you're going to make a chain of 4, turn your work. You're going to skip over the first chain space and go into the next with 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next chain space. So for this pattern, I'm going to go into the chain spaces. All right, so after your chain of 4, you're going to go into the next double crochet with 1 double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet. So we are creating a mesh pattern here. And you're going to just repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of this row, which is row 2 of the under bust, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright guys, we've come to the end of row 2. Look how beautiful the mesh pattern looks like. We're now going to make a chain of 1 and double crochet into the next double crochet, and then make a chain of 1, skip over 1 chain, and double crochet into the next chain. Remember the chain of 4 that we skipped. Make sure you go into it because it counts as a stitch. Now I'm going to make a chain of 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn because at this point I'm done with the red, and now I'm going to switch my color to blue. Chain 1 and pull through. Alright guys, so for my next color, I'm going to attach where I left off the previous color. So in the last stitch of the previous color, you're going to attach your next color and then make a chain of 4, and that counts as a double crochet chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and you're going to repeat this all the way across, and I'll show you how to wind up this row. And it's the row that we are going to keep repeating again and again until we get to our waistline level. Alright, so we've come to the end of row 3 of the mesh pattern, and I'm making a chain of 1, and then you're going to skip over 1 chain here and go into the next chain with 1 double crochet. So that's it, and then this is the row that you're going to keep repeating again and again, row 3 that we just did. So you make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and then you turn your work and double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, and go ahead and finish up this row as well. Now you're going to feel free to play with colors as much as you want. You can go ahead and use your preferred colors. I'm not going to dictate, so I'm going to stick to the colors that I use for the backups, and I play around with them. So go ahead and keep alternating colors the way you wish until you get to your waistline level. The waistline level that I am talking about is your upper waistline, where your navel is. Actually work until your navel, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. Alright guys, I've reached the waistline and I've done a total of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 rows have gotten me to my waistline, and 13 rows of the bottom band, and this is about 5.5 inches from where I started the bottom band, around 5.5 inches, and that will be enough because remember this piece also has a stretch to it. Alright, so you can go ahead and leave your top at this, and this is a very cute summer top that can be made to any length. As you can see in this image, it's paired with a lemon peel stitch skirt that already has a tutorial on my channel. Now I'm going to join in the round and also continue to grow my piece, but also creating increases. So you're going to lay your work flat just like this, and you're going to get your measuring tape and take a measurement across the base of the bralette, because at this point it's a bralette. So take a measurement across. I have 24 inches. I'm not stretching my work at all. I have a total of 24 inches, and you're going to take your waistline circumference. For me, I'm going to consider 27 inches. So get your waistline circumference and subtract what you have here. So 27 minus 24, that's a total of 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and make a chain of 3 inches. So sad I had already cut my yarn, but I'm going to reconnect it and make a chain of 3 inches, the difference between what you have and your waistline circumference without stretching. So So I've done a total of 20 chains. Let's see what we have. Okay, that's a bit long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a total of 15. 15 chains give me 3 inches, which is the difference between what I have here at the base of my top and the waistline circumference that I am considering. And then you're going to fold over your work and connect this chain to the opposite side. So into the chain 3, remember we start with a chain 4. So into the 3rd chain, you're going to place a slip stitch there, just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through. So right now, when you try on your piece, it should be able to go around your waistline. So we're going to go on to the next step, which is to get 2 stitch markers. My 2 stitch markers are here. You're going to place your work like this, balance it, try to balance it as much as possible, and then mark 2 side stitches. Just lay it flat like this and mark 2 side stitches. These stitches are going to receive the increases that are going to spread out our dress in order to accommodate the hip circumference. All right, so you're going to place 2 stitch markers on the side, and then you're going to grab your next color. For me, that is going to be green. And another thing that I wanted to mention, I have already figured out the color combination or the color arrangement that I want to make for my dress. You see, I have a red here. So from blue until black, that's the flow of colors that I'm going to consider. So 2 rows of blue, 1 row of green, 2 rows of yellow, 3 rows of red, and 1 row of black. And then we go back to the same exact arrangement. That's why I have 2 rows of blue here. That means 1 row of green next. So you're going to turn your work and you're going to locate the middle chain of your extension chain. So for me, I did a total of 15 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into the 8th. Just mark the middle here. And that's where you're going to attach your next color. And then make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1. Skip the next chain. Make sure you're working in the opposite direction of the previous row. Skip 1 chain and 1 double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet into the next chain. So this is what we have. And then chain 1, skip the last chain there and double crochet into the next double crochet. So you're just going to make it all the way across the chain, and then you blend into what we already have. Chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, and repeat that until you get to the stitch with the stitch marker, the first stitch marker, which is going to be the first point of increase. So make sure your ore is working in the opposite direction of the previous row. All right, so we've reached the stitch with the stitch marker. As you can see here, you're going to remove your stitch marker and you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the stitch that had the stitch marker, you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And then you're going to mark the stitch in the middle. So we've placed 3 double crochets at the same point. So you will just mark the stitch in the middle of the 3 stitches, and then continue with chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next double crochet. So go all the way across until you get to your next stitch marker, which is going to be the second point of increase of your dress. So go all the way across until you get to this point. All right, so we've reached the stitch with the second stitch marker. You're going to remove it and you're going to make a chain of 1 into the stitch that had the stitch marker. You're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet into the same stitch, chain 1, and another double crochet into the same stitch. So that's a total of 3 double crochets. And then you're going to mark the middle double crochet of the 3 stitches that you just placed. That will be our increase point of the next row or round, because now we are working in rounds. Chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the extension chain at the back of our dress. All right, so we're coming to the end here, and I'm placing 1 double crochet into the next, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, and now you're going to make a chain of 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet into the next chain, chain 1, skip the next chain, and double crochet into the next chain, chain 1, skip 1 chain, and double crochet into the next chain. So you should have 1 chain left. Just repeat until you have 1 chain left. You're going to make a chain of 1 and skip over that chain and slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the 1st chain 4 of the round, chain 1, and cut your yarn. I'm cutting my yarn because I have to do only 1 row of green or 1 round of green, because now we are working in rounds based on the color placement that I am considering. So you can see your work has already started spreading out to accommodate the hip circumference. So we're going on to our next color. And for this one, it's going to be very easy. You just attach your yarn into the stitch where you placed the slip stitch, the last slip stitch of the previous round. So turn your work to the back and make sure you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. So this side. And then you're going to attach your yarn into the stitch that got the slip stitch of the previous round. Alright guys, now for round 2, after attaching your yarn, make sure you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. And you're going to make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet. This is a non-increase round, so you're just going to chain 1, double crochet into the next all the way around until the beginning of the round. This time we are not going to create any increases. So that means from now on we are going to increase every other round. Not every round, every other round. So you do 1 round of plain and then a round of increase, another round of plain, and a round of increase. So for this plain one, I'm going to show you what happens when it comes to that point of increase. All right, so when you reach the stitch with the stitch marker where you increased for the previous round, you're going to remove it, chain 1, and double crochet into that stitch that had the stitch marker. But this time, since we are on the round of no increase, we are going to mark that stitch that went into the stitch that had the stitch marker from the previous round, and then just continue to chain 1 and double crochet into the next double crochet. So as much as we want to create the increases in order to get to our hip circumference, We don't want to make a drastic increase, otherwise we shall create a bulge at the hip section of the dress, which we don't want. So just continue to go all the way around with chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch. When you get to the second stitch marker, you're going to do the same exact thing that you did here. No increase, you just place 1 double crochet and then continue, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the round. All right, so we've come to the end of round 2, and I'm placing my last double crochet into the last double crochet of the previous round, chain 1 and slip stitch into the third chain of the first chain 4 of the round to finish round 2. Now round 3 is going to be the same exact color as round 2, because that's the sequence, that's the placement of colors that I am following. So 2 rounds of yellow. So you're going to make a chain of 3, actually chain 4, that counts as a double crochet, chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work. And round 3 is going to be an increase round. So you go into the next double crochet, make sure you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. Chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next stitch all the way across until you get to the stitch marker. At the point of increase along the line of the hips, the side of the hip. All right, so I've just placed a double crochet in the double crochet before the one with a stitch marker. You're going to remove your stitch marker and then make a chain of 1 and create an increase in that stitch that had the stitch marker. So to do that, you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet into the same spot, chain 1, and another double crochet into the same exact stitch. And then you're going to replace your stitch marker into the middle double crochet of the 3 double crochets that you just placed. And you can see the increase here is in the same exact line as the increase 1 row below. You can see this and then this after 1 row of no increase. So from here you're going to just chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, and you're going to repeat that until you get to your next stitch marker, where you're going to do the same exact thing. You're going to create an increase at that point, and then you will continue to wind up your round until the end of the round, and I'll show you what to do. I'll show you how my round 3 will end up looking like. So go all the way to this point that has your next stitch marker and create an increase at this point, and then go all the way until the end of the round with the mesh pattern. So our points of increase are here. only on this side and on this side. That's it. So I've come to the end of round 3 and I'm chaining 1 and slip stitching into the 3rd chain of the first chain 4 of the round. Now I'm going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn simply because I am done with the 2 rounds of yellow that I'm supposed to place. Now my next color is red. So from now on, you're going to repeat rounds 2 and 3 again and again, and you'll be seeing your work starting to spread out, as you can see here. We're increasing every other round so that we don't create a very sharp increase towards the side. That increase should be really subtle, and it should lay on body comfortably well. Otherwise, if we do an increase every round, then it's going to create a funny fitting. So we're going to alternate between rounds 2 and 3 until the base of our piece is half of our hip circumference when slightly stretched. So you can see here with a slight stretch, I have about 16 inches, and the hip circumference that I am considering for this design is 40 inches. So 40 divided by 2 is 20, and when I slightly stretch my work, I should get to 20 inches. So you can see I'm going to repeat rounds 2 and 3 until I can slightly stretch my work to half of my hip circumference, which is 20 inches. So let me go ahead and keep working, and I'll meet you back when I'm at that point when I can slightly stretch the base of my work to half of the hip circumference that I am considering, and then I'll let you know what to do next. So we're doing one increase round and then one non-increase round. We're alternating between the 2 rounds, an increase one and a non-increase one. Alright guys, I kept alternating between the increase round and the non-increase round until this piece could slightly stretch to half of my hip circumference that I am considering, which is 20 inches. You can see without stretching it's at about 18, but when slightly stretched it goes to 20. I'm not overstretching my work like this because this is not the fitting that I'm going for, so I'm just slightly stretching my work to get to half of the hip circumference. So once you get that, you're going to go ahead and repeat round 2, which is the non-increase round, and you'll see your work starting to become flat towards the side. Right now we have something that is spreading out. That's because we are creating room for the hip accommodation, but now that we've gotten it, we are going to just go flat, and you'll see your work running all the way down without spreading outwards. So repeat round 2, which is the non-increase round. You can remove your stitch markers. I've already done that. And now you're going to just keep working 1 double crochet in each and every double crochet from the previous round, and make sure you make a chain 1 in between. So keep working and follow the combination of your colors. As you can see here, mine are already working out, and I'm following this all the way to the feet, or continue to do these the non-increase rounds until you get the length of the dress that you want for yourself. So let me go ahead and work mine, and I'll be showing you what I ended up with in the end. Alright guys, after making my dress long, this is what it looks like. It looks really gorgeous, and if you would like to buy this particular dress, you can email me and I can ship it to you, of course at a fee. So I ended up with a total of 100 rows, including the rows right at the base of the breakups. So right from this one as row 1, I have a total of 100 rows all the way down to make a maxi version of my dress. And you can see the placement of the colors, that random placement. I kept following the pattern, the placement of the colors, so that it just doesn't look confusing. You can see how the colors keep coming back in the same exact order. So at the back, I also went ahead to make a long chain of about 150 chains, and I laced it up at this opening at the back of the dress, and that worked perfectly fine. As you can see in the images, you just lace it up at the back opening of the dress, right below the breakups, and this is what the back of my dress looks like. At this point, I was done. You're going to just go ahead and weave in all your ends, and that's basically it for this tutorial. And if you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I noticed most of you guys are not even subscribed as much as you enjoy the tutorials. I'm seeing so many views on the channel, but most of you guys are not subscribed yet. So if you picked any value or enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you subscribe and also turn on your notification bells. And let's see the final look of this dress. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops. So I'll see you in my next one, guys. Have a lovely week.